So very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely had a bit of a last minute panic. The lights went out, the power dropped. Had to do an emergency recovery. We're currently running on battery power. And yeah, good morning. I feel like I woke up like Homer Simpson this morning after last night's storm. I don't know how you, but I was in a kind of a pool of my own dribble. I don't know what it is about the electricity. 5x5 from Turfbog Time Machine. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this thing of ours as we start very hurriedly and rushed this morning. Like I said, the power is gone, but I am able to continue broadcasting to you, to reach you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, settle down, everybody. Settle down. A little bit of a panic, but everything's back to normal. Everybody jump on board. Take your seats. Hope you enjoyed last night's discussion. I know I did. Very informative chat with Kelly Johnson, from a member of the Health Freedom Ireland. Part of the organisation that's running part of tomorrow's demonstration or protest outside the Custom House in Dublin, Ireland at 2 p.m. tomorrow on Saturday. Meanwhile, the draconian lockdowns kick in. Transport and rail systems are being disrupted. But I encourage you, do not let that abate you. Press on, push on. And we shall see you there tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, before I get started, like I always do, let's give our friends, the great supporters of the show. I take them every day. I know you do too. The littlepharma.ie. We love our enzymes so much, we keep them alive. Wheatgrass and barley grass shots. Mighty grass shots. Small wonder they're so good. One wheatgrass shot is equivalent to 1 kilogram of your leafy green veg. Barley grass juice, full of antioxidants. Just shake and shoot. And don't forget to enter in your promo code GT for your very substantial reward or discount there as well. Okay, going to do an experiment tonight, live chat, or this morning tonight. Settle down. I know it's been pushing around last night, but I want to play it for you too. A news article from Spain broke last night. I know it's been doing the rounds late last night. I didn't catch to it, but I want to play it for you here this morning. It's 7 minutes long. I worked on it this morning to try and get it keyed up so I don't have to mess around. So we're going to go through it. It's a Spanish doctor. The subtitles are there as well. It's very important. Obviously, it's very important that you read the subtitles, but understand what he is saying. Understand that he's just blown the whole thing out of the water from Spain. And we have more and more doctors, more and more of the professional class, medical professionals, questioning the government's implementation of the World Health Organization's orders to push this nonsense into our children's school classes, to push this into the work environment, to destroy the middle class, to destroy small, medium enterprise businesses. Even throughout the lockdown, all your corporate global businesses were all still open. All the big shops were still going. But this doctor knocked it out of the thing. So settle down. It's 7 minutes. Tune in. If you haven't seen it already, pay attention to these subtitles. Pay attention to what he's saying, and we will discuss afterwards. So let me see. I've just set this up for this morning. Let's see if I can make this work here with including the sound. Okie dokie, lemon cokey, and I will blow it up full. Let me see. Go play.
Ingresadas en la UCI. Nos atiende ya el doctor Luis de Benito. Hola, ¿qué tal, doctor?
Buenos días.
Doctor, usted conoce muy bien cuál es la situación. Ha estado desde el principio, desde que comenzó la pandemia, trabajando con pacientes con coronavirus. Actualmente está en el Hospital del Escorial, aquí en Madrid. ¿Exactamente cuál es? La situación es preocupante, y ya podemos hablar de total saturación. Hay hospitales, estamos escuchando, que se están poniendo las pilas con más plantas, pero ¿podemos definirlo ya?
Pues no, vamos a ver, es que yo no sé exactamente a qué hospitales preguntáis, porque vamos, es cierto que se está notando un repunte en el número de ingresados, pero vamos, te voy a decir, hace la semana pasada en el Hospital del Escorial no había nadie, ayer había 3. Vamos, que es de más de 200, unas 100 y pico camas, ¿no? Es decir, que no me parece un porcentaje de saturación. Y quizá el hospital que está, al dicho como que es el que está más saturado, que es el 12 de octubre.
El 12 de octubre era el que estaba quitando, les ha quitado ya las operaciones programadas y que además también se están desplazando a los pacientes en consultas externas, las que consideran de menor importancia.
Sí, pues bueno, ayer los datos que da la Comunidad de Madrid eran 75 ingresados. 75 ingresados en un hospital de 1.300 camas.
Eso es, y 540 contagiados.
Pero esos 540 contagiados son PCRs positivas. Es que ahí es donde están los datos equivocados, no confusos. Y en los centros de salud se dedican a hacer pruebas de PCR y hay mucha gente que lo tiene. De hecho, están ingresando en los hospitales, por ejemplo, tráficos, que les hacen una PCR positiva y entonces lo contabilizan como COVID, cuando es un tráfico. Lo que pasa es que, bueno, hay una confusión en esto de que están aumentando los números de COVID. Pues no es verdad. Están aumentando, pero no los pacientes con patología COVID. Patología COVID es la que vimos en primavera, cuando teníamos los hospitales saturados. Ahora está habiendo, sí, un repunte de casos, pero simplemente porque estamos haciendo muchas más PCRs. Y hacer PCRs no quiere decir que estén contagiados, que estén enfermos necesariamente.
Ahí, por ejemplo, en el hospital, en su hospital, exactamente, ¿cómo están haciendo ustedes? ¿Hay, sí, una forma de ponerse a punto de cara a septiembre, octubre? ¿Está todo el personal sanitario ya de regreso?
Como están de vacaciones, como las autoridades, están de vacaciones como el gobierno, es que alarma no hay. Hay una situación de alerta, pero no es alarma.
¿Y reemplazo para doctores, para médicos, para enfermeros? ¿Hay?
Eso no tengo mucha idea del plan que tienen previsto. Es como todo, la previsión que se hace de suspender consultas o suspender quirófanos, pues se hace en base a que no hay sangre en el banco o no hay personal. Lo de los pacientes todavía estamos por verlos, porque realmente verlos no los hemos visto, por lo menos como en primavera.
Bueno, repito, 540 ingresados, contagiados y 70 en la UCI, para dejar las cifras claras. Hay un libro que usted conoce muy bien, ¿verdad que sí? Se titula Coronavirus tras la vacuna. Entiendo que estará atento a la información que está saliendo. Vacunas, Rusia, Alemania. Ayer saltaban las alarmas. Hoy parece que no la va a tener a punto para otoño. La de Pfizer, que parece que tiene un poquito más de eficacia. ¿Cómo lo ve?
Bueno, sí, es muy comercial hablar de una vacuna, sobre todo cuando previamente se ha metido miedo y se ha hecho creer que hace falta, porque claro, hay que colocarla. La cuestión es si realmente es necesaria. Primero, si es segura. Segundo, si es eficaz. Y, por supuesto, el principal, si es necesaria o no. Porque si resulta que es cierto que está contagiándose tanta gente, digo yo, ¿para qué va a hacer falta una vacuna si ya todo el mundo la ha pasado? ¿No? Un poquito la necesidad de una vacuna.
Sí.
Hay que vacunarse contra el miedo, porque eso sí, la alarma social que se está generando con esto, a los médicos, desde luego, nos deja perplejos.
Nos deja entonces un mensaje de tranquilidad, pero yo insisto, porque llevamos una media de más de 1.000 positivos al día en España.
Y
entonces,
si miras, por ejemplo, el Helicobacter pylori lo tiene el 50% de la población española y además es un carcinógeno tipo 1, o sea, dicho por la OMS, o sea, que la mitad de la población española tiene riesgo de tener cáncer de gástrico. Fíjate qué grave. ¿Es motivo de alarma? ¿Están en los periódicos? Es que no es motivo de alarma.
Respecto a la gente que está ahora de vacaciones, ya que estábamos citando, bueno, son muchos. Madrid, por ejemplo, está vacío, podemos decir. Las grandes ciudades sí que lo estamos notando, que la gente se ha ido de vacaciones. Ahora nos espera un regreso, septiembre. ¿Algún augurio? ¿Usted tiene alguna previsión de lo que pueda pasar o seguiremos siendo tan optimistas?
Los médicos, por lo menos con los que yo trato, que son alrededor de 300 enfermeros y médicos repartidos por toda España, lo que tienen muy claro es que hay una maniobra para confinar a la gente ahora en septiembre, haciendo ver que hemos sido muy responsables durante el verano, porque estratégicamente es interesante y además nos viene muy bien a los médicos que no vayan los pacientes a los centros de salud que están cerrados y esas cosas, ¿no? O sea, que estratégicamente funciona bien, pero desde luego desde el punto de vista médico pensamos que hay poca chicha. Desde luego no esperamos un repunte como nos pasó. En primavera sí que era necesario que los medios de comunicación hubieran hablado de saturación, desborde, porque cuando sacábamos a los hospitales a los pacientes fuera de los hospitales, los llevamos a los hoteles porque ya no teníamos camas para albergarlos. En primavera sí. Ahora, antes no había una pandemia y no hablabais de ella, y ahora que no la hay, habláis de ella a todas horas. La verdad es que no lo entiendo, pero bueno, se trata de dar las noticias.
Doctor, creo que nos han encendido un poquito las alarmas. Bueno, aquí está generando sus palabras cierta crítica en el plató. Le contesta, va a hablar con usted Francisco Javier Barroso, periodista que está aquí en el plató.
Mire, doctor, no sé o si le he entendido bien o a lo mejor nos ha explicado usted bien. Vamos a dejarle una puerta abierta, porque decir que no hemos hablado de la pandemia durante marzo, abril, mayo, junio y hasta hoy es llamarnos tontos al resto de la población. Disculpe que sea tan sincero.
¿Cómo que tontos?
Perdón, es que no hemos hablado de otra cosa. Ha sido monográficos de 24 horas en todos los medios de comunicación.
El tratamiento de la noticia no ha sido el mismo.
Hombre, por supuesto que cada uno ha hecho el tratamiento que ha creído conveniente, pero decir que no se ha tratado la pandemia, como acaba de decir usted, ¿Usted en qué
No,
mundo ha vivido? Discúlpeme.
Dentro de los hospitales, amigo. ¿Usted dónde ha vivido? ¿Detrás de una redacción?
No, perdone, yo he estado en la calle, he visto muertos y he visto
¿En la
gente
calle?
enferma. Y le vuelvo a decir lo mismo, se ha tratado la pandemia.
¿Ha firmado usted certificados de función?
No, mire, por desgracia no tengo esa suerte.
Bueno, yo creo que vamos a dejarlo aquí. Cada cual ha podido exponer su punto de vista. Luis, doctor, le agradezco que haya estado con nosotros, que nos haya atendido.
We leave it there. We leave that there. That's that. We got that off Ivor Cummins last night there as well, but it's important to share it all the way around as well. The Fat Buddha has it up on his channel there, and I'll drop a link into it afterwards. But I just wanted to play it out as well, because essentially what he's saying, he blows the whole thing out. He said, you're talking about hospital waiting lists being overflowing. In springtime, when the hospital was working and properly functioning, the surgicals, the elective surgeries were overflowing. The hospital was burgeoning, it was blowing out, it was over capacity, and you didn't speak about it then. But then because of the COVID kicked in, people stayed away from the hospitals, and now we're sat around doing nothing. It's for a political expediency that this case, everything's ramped up, because we doctors and nurses are sat here. They said we've 11 ICU beds, but only 3 are being used. Or it actually had 100 beds, and only 3 are being used. He also said that it's down incumbent now for doctors to quash and quell the confusion in the populace. Even the news article, or the second newscaster jumped in to try and take over from the lady because she couldn't contend. The doctor was saying, you know, I've been out and about. This is just for medical expediency. You make one comparisons about, as Stephen Donnelly did, about people dying in cars. People, you know, well, people die in cars, and I'm after getting rid of all of that. I should have had it up there. But, you know, making that comparison as opposed to a supposed epidemic or a pandemic, a global pandemic. But, of course, people die in cars all the time. So we absolutely have to take your liberties away. The freedom of speech is a gone thing because COVID-19 and your right to assemble. COVID-19, yet again. But don't forget, people die in cars all the time. So we're not going to report on road deaths. We're going to report on car fatalities. And we're going to work on locking people down to prevent car crashes, as another great YouTuber does. So if we all stay indoors and we all stop driving, then car crash rates will drop down. This is important that we, you know, everybody stay indoors. Do not drive a car, because driving cars is dangerous and people die on the roads. So in essence, we're going to bring in totalitarian lockdown control with a 5G artificial monitoring grid. We're also going to remove your civil liberties to assemble, speak out of turn, assemble in more than groups of 16 or 15 at any one time. We're going to make it arbitrary. We're going to spin it up in its head. You can sit in a restaurant or a church with 50 people, but you can't sit out. You can't sit outside. You can, you know, and then to make the comparison with car crashes, this is the kind of fucking meandering potheads, eggheads that are in government and that could sit down, and RTE pandering to it, and the hardline question, well, Minister, you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Well, that's true. People die on trampolines as well. Also, I know I mentioned car crashes, but people die on trampolines. Get the fuck out of here. The fact that we have to go and fight for our rights on the streets, to stand outside the custom house, where, well, the NGO drogs, the paid agent provocateurs, the BLM, the great unwashed, those that work for the majority, 60-70%, all employed by NGOs, all paid for out of the taxpayers' wallet to the tune of $5.5 billion. So these proxy warriors come down and try and chase ordinary men, women, and children coming down trying to defend, as we can see, to clear up the malaise, to sort out the corruption that is in government, because only a corrupt government would enforce this kind of nonsense on its people and expect them to completely comply. Even though there's a great mass and a great wash of them out there, they think they're doing the right thing because you have filled their heads full of lies. And mainstream media, even at the Conor Lally from the Irish Times, mocking a woman in distress because she fears for her life because she's received death threats. But your scale of journalism is a little party hat emoji. You're a weak, pathetic man. But that's indicative of the journalism that we face in Ireland today, because it's all about the little club circle. It's all about the little Twitter group and who you can get in corporate headquarters, or what journalist, if you keep your fucking mouth shut, which government minister will pick you up as a special advisor so you can spin and PR. But where were you when Egghead Donnelly, hiya! Where was Egghead Donnelly making the comparison about a pandemic where thousands, with not thousands, I over-exaggerate, hundreds of our elderly were destroyed and euthanized, died alone in a hospital, in care homes, while you sat around and hid behind figures and lies because, we're just being instructed. It's just the World Health Organization, and we've all got up on it. You're the biggest pandering, you're the biggest bunch of numpties, biggest corrupt bunch of numpties, and I hope one day the people will understand and that I still stand true, and I wish everybody the best of luck tomorrow. But the only way things are going to change in this government is if we take to the streets and you stand outside the door and you threaten to pull each and every one of them out of the desks or down at their new corporate headquarters down along the docks. Go down there, frog march each and every one of them out so that they can publicly face shaming or mockery, and then bring them to the courts, give them what you think is a fair trial, and then the punishment for treason. You know what I advocate. Nothing short of that will scare these bastards into compliance, because they have scared men, women, and children. They have confused us all, and now they are torturing and attacking your children. The slow boil was the royal sexual education, but now look at what they're doing here, slamming it in. They're going to make your children in bubbles. They're going to separate them. They're going to stop them playing. The damage that's already been incurred. If this goes on through autumn, I am telling you now, take them out from the pulpits, drag them onto the streets and shame them. Shame each and every one of them that walks around pretending to wear a mask and then huddles together in groups of three, laughing at each and every one of you behind your back. And I can't believe we're getting away with this. I cannot believe they're falling for this. Give RT another 50 million. Tell the slimes to shut up. And we'll do what the billionaire blogs, Goodman and O'Brien, will do what they say, because they own each and every one of us. Wasn't expecting that, ladies and gentlemen, but when you're ready to take to the streets and you're ready for a bit of affirmative action and you're ready to show these bastards that you will not put up with this anymore, then when we will take to the streets. And Gardaí and Defence Forces better make their mind up too, because invariably you're going to be attacking your own citizens. Defence Forces, if you pull guns in the future to try and placate the angry mob of angry parents that are frightened for their children's future, are you going to turn your guns on them? On Garda Síochána, are you going to turn your guns? Are you going to arrest citizens, concerned parents, taken to the streets because they will not be punctured by foreign DNA and aluminium samples that they know fuck all about, while you are going to mandatorily force them or take them away to camps because, well, it's not me and I'm just doing what I'm told. Pull your head out of your hole and let's get on to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign off there. That's me. You can tape that. You can drag that out. Or we'll stand that out there again. I know I'm saying publicly, and I know it's easy for me to say behind the camera here, but each and every one of you now sees and understands what is approaching. They have lied to you from the start, and they are hiding behind their masters in Brussels, and they are doing what they're told because of the Banking Federation or the Building Federation. Won't open their mouth, but the vintners can go to the wall, and small farms are being terrorized out of their small family businesses are being destroyed because you are too much of a fucking coward to say that you made a mistake, you got it wrong, and can we try and figure this out and get back to some sense of normality. The global economy is gone, but we're a small island nation, and with the correct leaders in place and with people with balls behind their words, people that can stand behind their own opinions and face the mocking crowd and steer this country out of steer this country out of its fucking malaise. Get us out of Europe. Brexit is getting out. Brexit is happening. England is happening. There's a $2 trillion trade agreement sitting there with the United States. We should be part of that. Ray Bassett even advocates for that. There's a $1 trillion trade agreement between the United Kingdom and the United States of America. Do we want to start and tie our children down to 200 years of Brussels rule? If we take any of that Ponzi money from Brussels, it's usury. You're locking your children's futures into debt, at least with a trade agreement, at least with our own currency, at least with our own new employment coming from the States. We could control our own destinies. We could sort our monetary bills out, and we could get back to some sense of normality. But these bastards only want a place in the UN. They only want their seats or their handy pensions. I'm telling you now, I agree with you all. Peacefully demonstrate. Do what you need to do. But when the time is right, give me a shout, and we will drag them bastards out of the chairs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you go because I think that's going to be me there, and I'm probably just going to come across as a little bit hyperbolic and unforgiving. Appreciate that, Neil. And I'm going to play one more video because the reason I know that all these bastards are scared to death because we will drown them in our urine. They don't know the half of it. There's thousands, there's millions of us. There's only thousands of them. And while you think they've got the prisons, the virtual prisons, they're constructing a virtual prison. The Panoctagon is being built as you speak, as you look, as you know you're being monitored and you're being tracked, as they take away your access to barter, to business, to take away cash. So you cannot conduct free business, your business as is your constitutional rights. But the TikTok generation are lost. Damn them. March over them. And we can forgive them after the fact. But as parents, as common sense people, you need to tell them your numbers. The water streets, the water charges should be damned. That was free water you were bitching about. This is your children. This is your children's future. That's all that matters. And the only words that matter is we should have victory in the laughter's children. That's how we will know. When they can run around the parks laughing free and not give a bollocks about all of this that's going on as they pull these smoke and mirrors. And this is one of the reasons why all our government ministers are keeping stone, because of the Clintons and the Northern Ireland Peace Agreement. And they've been living off the fat of the land for years because they're all corrupt and bent. They've been bought and paid for by the Clintons and all their crony friends who own hotels in Haiti, who have trafficked in children. And I hope to God one day that all your crimes come to fore. But people are speaking out because you're no longer respected. And if you ever come back to Ireland, the Clintons in Trinity or any of these things, I guarantee you this will happen to you as well.
I don't think I could be elected dog catcher down there. But they voted for me for president twice. And
Bill, this is boring. Why don't you talk about Jeffrey Epstein? I want to know about you and Jeffrey Epstein. Talk about you.
Important that when we talk about
Jeffrey Epstein flying on the Lolita Express. What's that? You know it, Bill. I'll leave. That's cool, man. That's cool.
Agents, provocateurs who are
You don't have to push me, man. Let's go. I'm walking.
Bill said about Arkansas, which we both love.
Jeffrey Epstein, Bill.
Jeffrey Epstein, indeed. Thousands of billionaires, thousands of millionaires went to that island. And anyone attached, anyone photographed between those two devils, Noel Rock or any of the others who used to work for them. Don't forget, our dandy Gandhi trained with Obama. All this corruption goes back to Obamagate. I know it's a slow roll, but we must hold them to account. The Manchurian candidate, the dandy Gandhi, trained with them. He knew, and he answers to their orders as well. We all know it. It's beyond, it's an accusation at the moment. There is no definitive proof. But I don't think with all that's going on in the world, the way they're able to shut the whole global economy down because they cannot stand 4 more years. And I hope that a prosecution comes out of it. I understand all the background stuff, Jesuits, this, and they've been on hanging out together and they're all in it together. But it's up to us to hold them account by our sheer numbers. It's up to us to present ourselves as concerned parents. This is not far right. This is common sense. This is traditional family values. The parents are in charge of their children. The parents bring up and instruct their children how to become functioning members of society. You give the state drones and they would make and create drones and they'll be good for just pushing buttons. Even now, just on the scale of where we are, we have no critical thinkers. It's just follow the line, snap a headline, and that's your opinion and you're locked into it. Unfucking believable. The land of saints and scholars, Joyce and the rest of them are turning in their graves because there's no critical thinkers. But there's no men with balls, no men in the professional classes like doctors. De Bruin is speaking out. Professor Dolores Cahill is speaking out. The concerned mammies are speaking out. But where's the concerned fathers? Oh, no, it's too risky. I need to be able to get down to the pub and watch me sterile football. I'll criticise a man who might have served in a foreign army abroad, but I'll follow an English football team till the death, even while all around me the house is burning. But now football is more important. Or the hallowed grounds of the GAA, while you're being subterfuged, while a foreign culture is taking over and signalling to the world that we own this island. This is our island now, and we will breathe the Irish out of existence. Even now as a small ethnic group, supposedly protected by the UN. And we were designed that this is our island. This is a homeland for the Irish. But under globalism now, it's being smashed. It's being drowned out. And pretty soon, in 15 years, with these open border policies, there will be no Ireland, or there'll be no Irish in Ireland. It'll just be a hodgepodge of the world. We cannot help the world. Even now, as we try to manage asylum seekers coming in, well, 2 homeless people jumped into Liffey rather than spend the night in a storm, and there's fucking asylum seekers down in hotels complaining about the air conditioning being too hot, that they have to open the window, and because of COVID-19, they cannot open the window. What sort of gobshites are we that we let our own die and jump into the river and just carry on through, or walk over them in the streets because they're Irish, or that's it? Meanwhile, we import racism. Meanwhile, we import bigotry. Meanwhile, we import all sorts of nonsense. I'm going to stop. That wasn't intended to be irrational. I have a couple of lovely articles set up for you here this morning, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to sign off there. And I will see you later on this evening. No guest tonight, but we will have a guest following Friday, and we will keep that as a surprise for you. We'll try and keep some sort of semblance of balance in all of this. Try and react and bring it down. Please, if you're new to the show, don't forget, smash that like button, also the subscription button. If you haven't done so already, please leave your thoughts, comments, and witticisms in the comment section down below. And if you could, please consider becoming a member of the Grandstream and support this platform, because there's no monetization in the values. It's only your membership that's keeping this afloat. Even for the price of a little bit of a cup of coffee a month, help support this platform so you can hear more tirades like this of a Friday morning or a Friday, and most days. Sometimes I'll get up off the trade. Apologies for the coarse language. Apologies for the over emotionality of it all, but it just frustrates me and all. And I cannot wait for people to acclimatize them to come up and catch up, and they question their own epistemology, to question what they've been told, to challenge the lies, to just say, no, we don't consent. No, we don't consent. The best word that they want. Someone comes up and challenges you, not wearing your mask. No, I'm not. That's correct. No, I'm not. I have a medical excuse if you want me to use that. But no, I'm not wearing gloves. No, I'm not wearing a mask over my face. And no, I'm not taking your poxy vaccines either. Now it's going to be what they're doing in Australia. I think they're demonstrating for us, all of us out there. Oh, have a look at what's happening in New Zealand. Have a look at what's happening in Australia. Their government are bought or paid for by the CCP, or they've got the Clinton Kabbalists, and they are being instructed and told what to do. And the fact that the Australian people are falling for it, or the New Zealanders, the Kiwis, where are the Maoris? The Kiwis, you're going to let people, women and children, be pushed into camps. City West is sitting up there, and many other designated places around Ireland are only ready to roll out. But if we scare them enough, if we tell them to pull their heads back in, and if we show them our numbers in time, they will have to listen. But then come the elections, each and every one of them, Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour, Social Dems, all nonsense, complicit, power-hungry hewers. And it's time for new politics in Ireland. It's an Ireland of 2.0 with the equal application of law, where we can control our borders, control our monetary sense, produce our own indigenous industries, and start getting this common sense values back, and stop letting this globalist new world order where you can do what you want at any time or become anything that you want, as they push critical theory, as words become, as language becomes more reality to them than the actual reality outside their windows. It's all critical theory. It's all a nonsense. And it's time to push back and say no, Ireland, before it's too late. 10 or 15 years, I guarantee another 5 years of this, we're already going to suffer immeasurable damage. 10 years of this, kiss it goodbye. Kiss it goodbye. 5,000 years we've been on this island, and we're going to allow the worst thing, Plantation 2.0, easily facilitated because the media have been lying to you for the indoctrination. I'm not saying everybody in the media is complicit, but those are the upper echelons, those that are married to politicians, those that transfer from Google HQ back to RTE, or from RTE up to a new nebulous European entity that will control and moderate your social media. They are rolling out the social credit system right in front of your eyes, and they will control in each every your thoughts, your movements, and how you can work, and whether you are functioning good enough. It's time to say no to this nonsense. Okay, that's it. This is definitely the last time. I'll see you later on this evening at 8 o'clock. Stay safe. God bless yourselves. Wuss.